Well, here we go. It's the 21st of November, and our strategy the last time I did an update was just to keep pounding our good spots in hopes that a core buck or a non-core buck would have expanded home range, expanded its home range, and we'd pick up a mature buck that we haven't had all season. So this is Amy's kill hunt. She shot a really nice big buck the evening of November 19th. We recovered it November 20th in the morning. And I'm going to apologize up front. I don't have a lot of footage of this hunt because we split up here about 10 days ago so we could cover more ground, so we've been hunting by ourselves. But I tried to piece together some footage and some pictures and stuff so that you guys would understand what made her hunt successful. And we'll just go into it here. We're going to start out with a little B-roll. This is actually some footage of the last time Amy and I hunted together. We sat this food plot called the Candy Cane, and the reason why is because it's the only green food source on this cabin farm. Everything else failed. All of our food plots failed. There is some alfalfa on the neighbors, but it's kind of going dormant because of the drought. And obviously we're getting later in the year now. But they're really hitting this winter rye. There are some radishes in there, I think, because of the cover crop mix that I had that rye. But they're hammering this food plot, this candy cane food plot. So let's just go here.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Playing on my phone. I was holding my bow, but you said I shouldn't, so I put it down.
Yeah, that's too long to hold it. So that's a little B-roll from the last time we actually sat together, but this is the same food plot. Long and skinny, long and narrow, and all the deer that come by, especially bucks when they're cruising, because it's long and narrow, they seem to come right past this blind. I think, yeah, you caught a glimpse of a camera there. So there's Pop-Tart on the 5th of November. But, you know, I could show hundreds of pictures. Decent bucks, big bucks, does and fawns, all using this food source, and I think it's because it's the only green food source around. So every night we get 20, 30 pictures of bucks and does cruising this food plot. So the night Amy shot her buck was the 4th time in basically 50 days that this food plot was hunted. The 4th time. So I think that's a key. Is a lot of times people overhunt their food sources, and this is only the 4th time, like I said, in 50 days. And there's her buck. So you can see on the 12th, this big brute, you can see he's got big shoulders and a big neck started showing up. So the night we decided to go to the cabin farm, we actually flipped for it. We couldn't decide who's going to go to the boot, who's going to sit this candy cane food plot. So we flipped for it. And what we said is, I think if it was heads, she was going to the boot. If it's tails, she's going to go to the candy cane food plot. So I went to the boot, she went to the candy cane, and this kind of picks up my hunt. So I'm sitting in the boot, and all that green that you see there, the majority of it is weeds. There's a little bit of winter rye in there, but mostly this is a failed food source. It's a lot of weeds. And this little buck came in right after I got on stand. So Amy right now is to my southeast, about a quarter mile away. And this little buck's just going nuts for whatever green he can find. My guess is he's going to make it out to this candy cane food plot by quitting time. So we're texting back and forth. There's some clouds rolling in. And Amy said, hey, we're going to get rained out at 5 o'clock. And I'm like, well, she's like, maybe the radar's wrong. And I'm like, no, it's not wrong. Only in the summertime is it wrong. And then she says, I just shot one. So this is her footage right now from the GoPro. So let's just watch this. I'm going to quit narrating here a little bit. There's, I think maybe a minute of footage here. As soon as we see some does come in, I'll quit narrating. So she sees some does to the south, and there's her buck is behind it. She nicknamed this buck Judd, by the way. So she hits record on the GoPro, And you'll see all the deer that come into this food source, even if they're eating, they always work south to north or north to south because it's a long and skinny food source. Especially cruising bucks. No matter where they come out, it seems like they always walk the whole length of this food plot. So she's just being patient here and letting these deer come to her instead of trying to, peek out the window or, try and make a move. She's going to be patient here. You can see the camera. See the camera on the right side of the screen there? That's the camera that's been getting all these pictures. There, you can start to see some. It's a doe and a fawn, I think. Now they're starting to come. And here comes Judd. So right in here would be a good place to stop him. But he's just moving too quick. Can't get a shot. So now let's take a look at it slow motion. Wishbone thought that he stopped. So she put it, right behind that front leg and squeezed off a shot. But in reality, this buck is still moving. And you'll see the shot's pretty far back. But if that deer actually would have stopped, right here would be a good spot for a Yeah, you see where it went in. It's pretty far back. Now the buck is quartering away. The buck is quartering away. So we thought that arrow drove up in there pretty good. So what we did is I got down and I came over by her as fast as we can. We just kind of dropped all of our stuff there at the blind. And then she thought she smoked it pretty good. So we tracked it. There's a big, deep ravine there and then up. Then I actually saw the buck bedded down. It was about 50 yards out in front of me. So but it was alive. So we just backed out. We went back the next day. And here's where I should have brought the camera along or the GoPro. But when you're tracking a deer like this the following day, I just think my number one goal was to get this buck. And so I didn't want to haul my video camera around. I should have brought the GoPro around. But it was actually a pretty easy track job, if you want to call it. It wasn't a lot of blood, but that buck went maybe 50, 60, 70 yards from where I last saw him bedded down, and we had him found in pretty much no time. So here he is, big, massive brute of a buck. He had really big bases, and the size of this deer was an enormous deer, over 200-pound deer for sure. So congratulations to Wishbone on putting together a great hunt. And this is her first, I want to say this is her first big mature buck when she was sitting by herself. So hats off to you. Good job, Amy.